Hey guys, welcome to part 1 of Call It What You Want, my little book review. If you missed my last video, you missed the explanation of how I'm going to be doing my book reviews or my current reads. I'm going to be breaking them up into 3 different parts, beginning, middle, and end. I'm going to talk to you guys like throughout the book. I want to tell you my predictions, what my thoughts are so far along the whole way, so that's why I like to break them up into 3 different parts. So this is part 1. It's going to be the epilogue through chapter 11, so we're going to stop at chapter 12. If you have not read that far, you probably don't want to read, probably don't want to watch this yet. If you're reading with me, that's where we're stopping. I'll put the next chapters on screen of what we're reading for part 2 and part 3. The next video you see from me will not be about this book. The video after that will be. It's every other video will be my current read update. So we're going to be talking about the epilogue through chapter 11 today. Okay, so I want to make this to where if you're not currently reading, you can still kind of understand what the book is about, but I also don't want to give you all the goodies. I want you to read the book on your own. Anyway, so if you watched my last video, you saw that I got a huge book haul of new books, and this was one of them. And honestly, I just picked it up because of the cover, and I thought it was so cute. And then after buying it, I saw a video by the author, this video. And I just thought that was so cute. I was like, oh, love women. Good for her. So cool. And then I saw her cover of her next video, of her next book, and it looks so cute. So I was like, I gotta read Call It What You Want. That way I can read the next one and have both of her books on my bookshelf because they're so cute. So that's why I picked this one up, and that's why I wanted to read it first. And also it's nice and short, and I thought it would be a good one to start with on this channel. So let's get into what it's about. So it says, Sloane Hart is a hopeless romantic who always believed her great love story was out there until her parents' divorce shattered that dream. She swears off dating and is determined to graduate college, become a writer, and move to New York City until she meets Ethan. Ethan Brady is guarded and mysterious, unwilling to talk about his past or let anyone get too close. As they start dating without labels, they both know it can't last forever. Sloane imagines a future with Ethan, but he can't give her the commitment she needs. Will she be able to convince Ethan to take a chance on her, or will she have to learn the hard way that some things just aren't meant to be? Sloane and Ethan's story is a bittersweet tale of love and self-discovery that explores the complexity of relationships and the challenges of moving on. I thought that sounded so good. I was like, I haven't read a book like that that's like a lesson is what it sounds like. And I haven't read a book like that. So I was like, you know what? This is gonna be cute. I'm excited for the journey. Okay, so my mood has been great so far because I am excited to be filming, but I have some thoughts about this book so far that are not great, but let's just get into it. Okay, I'm editing this video right now, and I just wanna go ahead and insert this clip before I get into the summary of what's going on and my thoughts. It's gonna sound like I'm not saying anything, there's no substance to what I'm saying. There's no story that I'm telling you guys that's happening. That is the book. So far, there is no detail. I feel like these two characters have no connection. I don't know what their connection is. So if at any point when you're watching my review or my thoughts during this part, the part 2 and part 3 get a little bit better. But part 1, if you're ever thinking this girl's not even describing what she's reading, it's because I'm describing what I'm reading and there's nothing happening. There's no detail from the author that made me feel connected to this book. So it's really hard for me to summarize things without just telling you every single thing that happened. The book opens with her getting broken up with, okay? And then we go back to when she's in college. Now, on the back of the book, it says that her parents' divorce kind of made her write off men and blah, blah, blah. I didn't see that happen. It was mentioned that her parents got divorced, but it was almost mentioned in a way that was it needed to happen. It was hard to deal with, but it is what it is. It's how it came off in the book. So I find it odd that the back of the book actually says her parents' divorce shattered her dream of finding true love, because it didn't come off that way in the book to me. So that was the first thing I noticed when they casually mentioned the divorce, that's not really how it was told. I don't know if it's because it'll come up later, even more so. I have her snacks in here. Okay, bring me your pink ball. Sorry if my camera moves a lot. She keeps jumping on the bed. My tripod is barely hanging on. Okay, anyway, so that was just one thing I noticed right away that was kind of weird. I don't know if it's going to become more prevalent in the end, and so maybe it's just the beginning that they're showing. It doesn't seem like that big of a deal. She basically is in college. She stops dating, but she is like kind of sleeping with people, and she just like no strings attached. It's just like trying to get over a breakup she had, I believe, in like the beginning of college. She's in her senior year where this whole story takes place, and then like the end of college. Then she meets her neighbor, who is Ethan Brady, and they have a really cute like meeting thing, and then they go spend the night together, but all they do is kiss, which I really loved in this book. Like, I feel like sometimes it's like, okay, chill out. Like, we don't know anything about this guy. Like, I don't know. That's just not me. But it's, anyway, so they spend the night together. Very cute. In chapter 3, we get his point of view. I like that. I love a dual POV. I didn't expect it. And I was excited to see his thoughts because she's very much infatuated already. Very much like, what is a spark? What is a spark I'm feeling? So that was exciting. They didn't sleep together. She's talking to her friends and she's like, should we sleep together? I don't know. Like, she's trying to get over her last breakup and she's just unsure what to do, but she feels something with him. And one thing I will say is, like, throughout this part, it was hard for me to understand what she saw in him. Like, it's one thing to be like, he's very attractive, I'm gonna sleep with him. It's another thing to have sworn off men, feel something with this guy, and then be like, well, I don't want to sleep with him because I don't want to just find love that way. She feels like that's how she tries to get people to love her. And I just feel like I'm not, as a reader, wasn't understanding what was so special about this guy. Like, I get there's a feeling, but nothing made me as a reader feel the feeling. Like, oh my God, yes, they have to be together. Like, I didn't feel that. So that was one thing, like, I'm not so sure if I'm just missing it, but it just felt like I'm not feeling the connection she's feeling. Here's my biggest problem with this book so far, and I'm only talking about up to page 32. 32, okay? Chapter 5, page 32, up until this point, there have been so many pop culture references, and I didn't even realize until I was writing them down. Call It What You Want. Is that not a Taylor Swift song? Okay. So, you guys, it was bad. I hate when books have too much pop culture references. I've read a book that was like talking about the quarantine. We were quarantining. Never mentioned there was a pandemic. And I understand that, like, right now I understand what you're talking about. It takes me out of it. I'm reading books to escape. I'm reading books to escape, not to read about real life. So let me read you a list of all the pop culture references so far in this book. On page 32 into this book. Okay, she's mentioned the Chainsmokers, Taylor Swift multiple times, the type of beer they're drinking, which, like, that one wasn't as bad, but it was like, with everything else, it was a little bit annoying. Right after I wrote those down, because I was like gonna start taking notes on that, she mentioned Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Shameless, and Zac Efron. I'm like, those things are not, they don't need to be in a book. Like, it was just too much. Like, I feel like when other writers are describing what they're watching, they're just describing, like, oh, a show with about a silly guy with this and that. She was like watching Shameless, watching Keeping Up with Kardashians. Like, it was just too much. It was too much. Okay. You really gotta learn to just, like, relax a little bit. No, she knows the word relax. You relax right here? Okay. Anyway, so that was a little bit annoying, and I was kind of like, oh no, I'm not gonna like this book. And I really wanted to, because of that video I showed you guys. Like, I really wanted to love this author. I'm just a sucker for, like, a good story, a good backstory, but, like, oh, I don't know. So anyway, back to the story. They finally spend the night together. They sleep together. He tells her he doesn't do serious, but I already feel it. I already feel he's gonna lead her on. Like, I just know she's gonna get hurt. He seems like a F-boy, and it's just not going to end well. That's the vibe I'm getting already, and I believe it's only like chapter 5 or 6. Okay, then right after, I already have that feeling, she throws up at the bar, and he doesn't leave. Everybody in the friend group leaves. He doesn't leave. And he tells her the next day, like, I'm sorry, like, I just wasn't ready to leave. Okay, girl, bye. Like, bye. We just slept together. I throw up at the bar because I'm too drunk, and you're not even gonna leave with the friend group. Like, anyway, at this point, the book should have ended right then and there. Like, I don't know why. Ugh, it was so annoying. Then they end things. There was nothing really even going on. They were kind of just like casually hooking up, spending time together. They were like spending time together, but we weren't seeing a ton of that. Like, we were just seeing like, oh, and then we spent the week together. It's like what the book would say. Like, we spent a week together, and then her friends would come back and she'd hang out with them, and then it'd be like a group thing and all this and that. I don't know. I wanted to like this book, but so far I'm not. I just like really didn't feel the connection that she was feeling, because he just seemed like a jerk. And anyway, he breaks up with her. He's just like, I don't want anything serious, like, and I feel like this is getting serious. And he's like, in his POV, he's wanting to tell her the truth. We don't know what that is. He's clearly dealing with a lot. He doesn't do serious for a reason, but we don't know what that is. And so at this point, I can't give him any sympathy because, like, just say it. You're a grown person. You're a grown adult. If you can have sex with somebody, you can talk to them about hard things. So, like, it was just, and I get, like, you don't need to if it's just casual, but at this point it wasn't casual. They were spending so much time together. And so it's like, just tell her whatever you're dealing with or leave her alone. And he was like, okay, leaving her alone. So I was like, okay, points for him at least. But so then in chapter 10, in walks Reese. Reese is a friend of a friend, I believe. So her friends are basically just like, you have to meet Reese, da-da-da. And it's like not supposed to be anything serious, but she runs into Ethan while she's with Reese. Then, of course, Ethan realizes he can't see her with anybody else. And so he is obviously bothered. So he has her meet up in the car with him. Annoying. And he's like, we can try. I don't do serious, but we can try. But still with no labels. So it's like, what are we doing? We're just going back to square one? Love that for us. What are you doing, Sloan? And then this section ends with Ethan telling her that, or not telling her, it's his point of view, and he's thinking to himself, he promised her too much. He didn't even promise her that he could be her boyfriend. He just promised her they could try again without labels, and he's already thinking, I promised her too much. Please, with the bare minimum, get out of here. Like, I could not. I was so irritated. So I ended this first section. I'm pretty irritated. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what could happen in the book to make me not be irritated with this book, but so far I'm very irritated. She just keeps going back to him. She keeps, like, giving him a pass. She keeps giving him a pass for, like, not giving them labels. And also, sorry if it's so distracting that my dog keeps jumping off the bed and walking all over the screen. This is just me being casual. Anyway, so far they've just gotten back together a ton of times, They just hang out and hook up, and she wants more. He tells her he can't give that to her, but he's also in his head saying he's already promised her too much when he's promised her quite literally nothing. And they just won't leave each other alone. That's where we're at. Oh, I don't know. So far I'm not loving it. I'm not loving the story, and I'm not loving the writing. All the pop culture references, I'm not feeling what the book told me I was gonna feel, like the divorce making such an impact. Like, I don't know, I'm not loving it so far. I'm not done with it yet, so I may have different thoughts. If you've read up to this part, through chapter 11, let me know your thoughts. Let me know if I need to, like, wait a little bit to feel it out. But no spoilers, please. But if you've read this book or you're reading along with me, let me know what you're thinking. My predictions for the next part are that it's gonna happen all over again. Sorry, my dog's scratching her leg and making the camera move. They're gonna break up again and get back together. I think it's gonna keep happening, and I think her friends are gonna hate him so much. And so she's gonna be, like, isolated, and I feel like it's gonna be really bad. At least that's, like, my real life prediction. I don't know about the book. But yeah, I think her friends are gonna hate him. I think she's gonna hate him. But I feel like a lot of people, you have to stay till you hate the person. So I feel like that might happen. So anyway, those are my thoughts on part 1 of Call It What You Want. I'm not loving it so far, and I don't know. I'm not loving it so far. That's all I have to say. But we will finish it out. The next video will not be about Call It What You Want. The video after will be, and we will get into my thoughts then. But let me know what you guys are currently reading, and what you thought about this book if you've already read it. And yeah, what do you think about pop culture references in books? I personally hate it. I hate when authors do that. It really takes me out of the story, and I want to be submerged into the story. I want to be taken out of real life, and I hate when that happens. But I know that that's just a preference. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will talk to you guys next time.